Episode 30 of the Surf Mastery podcast welcomes back the original guest number 1, Matt Grainger. What really inspired the conception of this podcast was a lot of the conversations I was having with Matt and the people he was introducing me to through the Manly Surf School and the High Performance Surf Centre. And I really wanted to share these conversations with others because I was learning so much about surfing. Yeah, I just wanted to share these conversations. And Matt was kind enough to do the first one. And that was more of an interview with Matt. And during that interview, Matt shares a lot of sort of, more clinical coaching tips in that interview. But today's podcast is a little bit more of a change of format from most of the other shows, whereas we just sort of sat down and had some Balters, some beer, and it just kind of got Matt talking, and Matt just went on a roll with some stories. And what I really love about this conversation and what comes through is just Matt's passion and attitude towards surfing, and it's such a great insight as to how he got so good. And the only thing that equals his passion and positive attitude towards surfing is his passion and positive attitude towards coaching and helping others to get better at surfing as well. So if you want to find out more about Matt, go back to episode number 1 or check out his website at Manly Surf School. If you Google Manly Surf School and Matt Grainger, you'll come up with some stuff. He's coaching in and around the northern beaches and doing some coaching trips in the Mentawais as well. Let me know if you like this new format, the Balter fueled conversation storytelling format. So I see you got the ice bath there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because you did the Wim Hof. You went.
Yeah, the Wim Hof's insane. I love it. Have a beer. Yeah, there's heaps here.
Have you been doing it daily?
Yeah, I try to. I love it. It's so good. Like you just have to focus on the cold.
Oh, you focus on the cold.
Like you're so focused on the cold, then you actually go to the kind of zen, and then it's like meditation. Like you just boom, because you're just thinking about one thing, and you don't move. Like as soon as you move, like you get cold. It's bizarre. So if you're like so still, and you're just like, it's really good.
So you do the breathing sequence before you jump in?
Yeah.
What, 15 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been doing it in my classes like you taught me.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's really cool. I love it.
I was in New Zealand with a guy. He sort of taught me a little bit more Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah.
And he bought a $100 big massive chest freezer.
Yeah, that's the go.
And he just plugs it in for an hour a day.
Yeah.
And that's it. The water stays cold.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I might get a thermostat that goes through it.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll always be cold. It just loops through. So, and I do it at home sometimes too. If I just go buy 3 bags, because there's like 3 bags for $10. You just chuck it in there and just go at home and just like you'll be watching a movie with your wife and go in there and go back out. Boom, boom. She does. What Chrissy's like, no, you're crazy. And my kid's like, you're crazy. But yeah, I love it. Yeah.
You do it every day?
Try it. Yeah, I haven't today. I had a cold shower though. Did the cold shower.
In the mornings?
Yeah, and the Arvo. Yeah, just like I was feeling really tired, the Savo. Just before I had a class at 4 o'clock, so I was just like, oh man, I need to reset, and just hadn't meditated because I just got too caught up in work. And just went for the cold shower and just, back.
Rad.
It's pretty rad how he just did it all.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I went to his seminar.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Insta post.
Yeah, and he's such a cool guy. Just not a guru, and I'm just Wim Hof. Like I'm not the ice man. I'm Wim Hof.
Classic. So you're going to be out at Germans in midwinter in boardies?
That would be pretty cool, eh? They'd spin a few people out. It'd suck though, probably because you got on the way and you get cold. You're like, oh damn it, got to go in. But you'd probably just stay out there.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd do a 30-minute session.
You could do 30, 40
get a cool
easy.
Photo.
Yeah. Yeah. Get a photo. Get out.
Did you get any big swells last year?
Yeah, got some good swells. It was bit of a weird year. I got really good cloud break. And a lot of White Rock sessions, some Southie sessions. And, I actually had, one German session that was just amazing. The swell just picked up, and it was windy. And I was actually just did like this. I had to do a photo shoot for New South Wales Transport, like a surfing thing. And then the last thing was at a bar. And I was like, I had one beer. And I'm like, I looked up at the clouds and I looked at the trees, and I'm like, they're gone still. I said, I just had half the beer, and I said, I'm out of here, see ya. And I bolted to Germans, and it was macking like 15 foot.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just paddled out, and a few of the boys were out back by me, and I paddled past them and just went and surfed it on my own, and just, it was heavy, but fun. Like, it's kind of scary, like heaps of clothes, like wash-throughs, and it's just like, what am I doing? And like heaps of self-talk, like, what am I doing? Like, and then like it closed out and you had to bail. You'd like bail out, and I'm like, it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm thinking, when we tow, I'm like, I'm out where we, like on the gnarly days where we're towing, I'm actually out there. And I was like, and doing heaps of self-talk, like I'd spin around and go, and then I'd pull back and go, what's wrong with you? Like, and you're the only guy out, and you're talking to yourself like a madman. Come on. And, made one drop, and then that was like, the switch went, and I was like, yeah, you done it. You're sweet. Let's go. And keep going. And then I got the rhythm.
And the zone.
So weird in big wave surfing. When you got to go. I remember Nick Carroll saying to me when I was a grommet, like, in the first 2 minutes, when you go out there, if a wave comes, you got to go. Go over the falls, get smashed, and then you'll work it out, and you'll go, wasn't that bad? So I've always had that in the back of my head, which is really good, because when I go out there, I've had sessions where I jumped off Delaware Point and boards hit me in the head, and I'll say to Huey, is that all you got? Like, you know what I mean? You got to have that kind of psycho-ness. Now I'm older, you still got to be psycho as well, but at a more calculated realm. You're not stupid. We're not breaking boards as much. Not when we grew up. I was lucky. I had 4 maniac friends, and we had this pact that when we went out surfing together, and actually we had this swell that went on for cyclone swell went on for weeks. I mean, like 2 weeks, and we had to take off on every wave that came. So we're at Dewey Point, we're at Makaha, we're out Germans, and every time a wave came, your mates were watching you, and you weren't allowed to pull back. So we were just going over the falls, snapping boards. One guy broke 8 boards in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I broke 3. And it was just like this mentality of you just have to go. And if it was low tide, the reef's popping out, you still went. You go over the falls and just get totally axed. Yeah, it kind of moulded us as with surfers and chargers, and that's why we'd all go out Germans, or you'd see something and you dream of it and go, why is there no one out there? Let's just try it. Let's just go. And then as we got older now, we've got good boards, we got thicker, wider, proper Hawaiian guns. Yeah. Whereas before we're trying on Indo guns, like 7.6s. We're only little grommies, but we're still on 7.6s, but they were too knifey and too thin and too rocket. And then I went to Hawaii, and someone gave me a 10-footer and I rode it. I was like, what have I been doing, And my chest is like 4 inches above the water. You're paddling and you're up, you're riding, and you're just going, this is just like having a jet ski. So we went through that whole...
Was that 2 weeks like a kind of like a turning point? Like you got over a plateau?
It was just not caring. Just didn't care. Just going for broke. Everything was going for broke. And then you realise that you're not getting hurt that much. We didn't break any bones, didn't get, nothing serious happened, broke a lot of boards. But it was just like a turning point where you're like, what's the normal world thinking about? Why are they all so soft? You're not saying that walking around the street, just in your own head. And and you're just out there laughing too, because it's like this full laughter. Like you're looking over your mate going over the falls, and you're like, "Oh, that's unreal! Like, what's he doing?" And then your turn's up, and then this bomb comes, and you're got to go, and it's unmakeable, but you go, and you go, and you just get flogged, and then you come up and you claim it, And I remember, reading an article about this Jose Angel. He was a school teacher at Waimea Bay. He was one of the best servers at Waimea Bay, and he would do these, just go out there and charge, no leggy, just maniac. Back, I think it was in the 70s, and he'd actually just even stand there sometimes, and the whitewater would be coming at him, and he'd just stand there and do like the Jesus Christ pose, and stand on his board, wouldn't dive under, and let the whole whitewater just destroy him. And all his mates would go, "Oh mate, that guy's crazy," but he would. That's sort of taking the fear out of it, if that makes sense. So he's gone, well, I've made the choice to get hammered. I'm trying to get hammered. A lot of times we go surfing, we don't want to get hammered. We don't want to fall off because of fear and anxiety or looking stupid. And he's just turned it on his head and gone, I'm just going to actually try to get hammered. And Ross Clark-Jones is probably the same. Like, I was talking to Tom Carroll. Tom Carroll's telling me him and Ross would be on top of a cliff, about to jump off, into the water, like just do a cliff jump, just being grommets. And Tom's, even though he's like a charger, he might go, maybe drive to the left or to the right or out. And Ross is just like, don't care, boom, off. He doesn't even care. He's just going to go. So that's like Ross has always just gone for it. And he's like one of my favourite surfers. And there was a thing if you look back in one of the performers, if you go and check out performers in one of the Quicksilver movies, Ross Clark-Jones talks about he always wanted to be a pilot, like pilot of a plane. And as he says it, he's out sunset and he just throws his board and dives off head first on about a 12 to 15 foot wave and just dives off. And me and my mates saw that video and we're like, we used to call them pilots. So when the wave came and you had to go and you weren't going to make it, you do a pilot, you do a Ross pilot and just dive and pin drop head first. Yeah, so it's crazy how all those little things manifest in itself.
Yeah, it's kind of like what that's Wim Hof's attitude towards the cold.
Yeah.
Like just jump in and just
go.
Realise it's not that bad and
yeah,
it's good for you.
It's good, and get on this tangent about one day we're actually towing out Germans, and it was big. There was no one out. Actually, Tommy Carroll came out later on his ski with Barton Lynch, and me and the captain, who was my tow partner, we were towing, and then there was also Jason Coffey and Ewok, one of the guys who was in that group. And Jason Coffey was in that group. That's the guy that broke 8 boards. Anyway, we're towing Germans, and then we see like a pack of, like, we see just a pod of whales just come past, like all these whales is coming past, like probably about 6 whales coming past about half a K off Germans. So we're like, let's go and just go and hang with them. Like, and of course, captain's very conservative and he knows marine stuff. He's smart. So we go out there and he goes, look, we can't chase him. I'm like, no, we're not going to chase him, but we'll just cut the motors. We'll jump off in the water, and these humpbacks were swimming past us, underneath us, like 4 to 5 feet away, and we're like, 2 Ks off out to sea in the middle of winter. There's just a full buzz just going, how sick is this? And that was kind of scary because you look how big they are, and you think, man, they could just hit you with the tail and you'd be toast. Yeah. But you got that buzz as well, and they're beautiful, and so you got that thing with your mates, like this, camaraderie, but also nature. Yeah, we're fully in the zone, just going, claiming it. Oh, how good is this? And anyway, as we're coming back to Germans, I'm on the back of the actual boards in the gunnels, and it's a tow board, so you can't do step offs because they're so heavy. So we're coming flying in. This 12-foot wave comes, like a perfect 12-foot wave A-frame, and I'm going, we can't catch it. I said, I'm going to body surf it. And captain goes, nah, you won't. I said, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do a body surf jump off. So I'm on the back of the ski and I'm holding onto his shoulders And I as the waves just starting to pitch, the ski's kind of here, and I'm on the back, standing up at this stage on the actual seat, and I go, I'm going to go, and he goes, yeah, well, you have to because you said it. So I jump, and actually I jump feet first, and I just go feet first, go top to bottom, and the whole barrel goes over me, full on barrel, and nothing happens. I just go out the back. It's spat out the back. And I just go, what? And Karen's laughing, going, that was insane. The other boys are going, what are you doing? And we're going, oh, it's a new sport. It's called toe-in body surfing at German Banks. And Jay's Coffee was a classic. He goes, yeah, you should put that in the Manly Daily next week, and for school holidays. Like, there's a new sport coming out. Put your kids into a toe-in body surfing. Anyway, so I had another couple of goes, and I was trying to go head first down the wave and hands behind the back, all that sort of stuff. Okay, pretty unsuccessful. And then captain goes, give me a go. One of my mates I grew up with, and my tow partner, and he did this perfect one. He jumped off and just met the water perfectly. He's just skimming down the face with his hands behind his back, just like like an albatross, just going down. And then the thing just mowed him. But the thing was, because we're in that state where we chose to get whipped. Like, before that, we're actually scared. Like, before that, we're actually on the wave. Oh, there's a lip. Oh, it's pretty big. It's 12 foot. I'll go around it and do a cutty. So you didn't want to fall off your board. And now we changed the game. We're going to go get smashed. And you're coming up laughing. And at one stage, the wave, we were doing this funny thing. You do your toe-in body surf and get absolutely flogged. Sometimes not. And then you come up, and there'd be a 3-wave set coming. And you just wave at your mate and just go, hey, I'm going it, and it's this white water like just coming at you, and you put your head towards the beach like you're swimming with a 1-foot wave, and then just grab your legs and just throw you into a somersault and just KO you and just and both ski riders are just laughing their heads off. You're getting flogged. He's getting flogged, but then you come up and claim it, and then Tom Carroll comes up and goes, "What are you guys doing?" I go, "It's a new sport. It's called toe-in body surfing." And he goes, "You guys are nuts." But and it's that weird. And then we're back on our surfboards, towing in on our tow boards, like little 6 foot by 18.5, 2.25, with straps and whatnot. There's no one out there that day. It was beautiful. So back in the day before paddling, we were doing a lot of towing. We were towing and no one was paddling. So we'd just be out there on our own all the time. There'd only be 1 or 2 skis, maybe 3. And now it's cool that we're paddling. And it's heaps harder paddling. Like, when you tow, you just get dropped in like it's a cartoon, and you just go, hey, your mate puts you there, and then you got to deal with it. And you're on this beautiful little 6 foot board. But yeah, when we went back on the 6 foot board, like, there was a couple of sections where Captain and myself, not trying to talk ourselves up, would go up and try and float a section. You never think of it because the fear had gone. We were laughing, and we just talked ourselves into not caring and all that sort of stuff. We're doing floaters and hitting the lip, and then doing cutbacks and coming back and trying rebounds, and it was bizarre. So like the 12 foot wave felt like a 3 foot wave.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff, and then it makes you think. It's so much about the brain, isn't it? I know you're studying that with your neuroscience, and yeah, so you kind of got to have a skill set. You got to have that skill set to be able to deal with it, to be out there. And like, we've been paddling that place when we were grommets and other places, and then we got on jet skis and we got proficient at that. And then so you're matching the skill level to the fear, and you get in this beautiful zone where and it's like, it's so much cooler than normal surfing because it's not competitive, and it's not like I'm better than him, he's better than me. You don't care. You're just doing it. Yeah. You
go to the extreme. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
I'll try and body surf 12 foot of whitewater.
Yeah, no.
And then you realise it ain't that bad.
Yeah, it's so, even like a kid today, it's all right.
Yeah.
A kid today, like for instance, a guy, I was training a kid today in a coaching class, and he was going on about he just had the worst session in our session. And it's just an elite session where they go out and get 3 waves, and then we video them, critique them, and we show them later. This kid was just off. He's just off, so off. He's angry. He's just coming in every time. I'm like, and then I just walked over and said, "What's wrong, mate?" Like, and he said, "I just had the worst day ever. I've got detention on Friday, and then I've got tomorrow I've got lunchtime detention." And he told me why. It wasn't that bad. And I said, "Mate, it's not that bad. Like, in your head, it feels bad, but you'll look in a month's time or a week's time, it's nothing. Like, you've made it up in your own head. Like, we all make so much stuff in our own heads." And it's the same with big wave surfing or competition surfing. And you've dealt with a lot of coaches recently. I've listened to your podcasts. They're amazing, by the way, and all the content and the guys that you have on and the girls you have on. And it's so much like that, the relationship coach to student relationship, and also just knowing what's wrong with the person. And I don't think that happens enough in school as well, in this education system. Like, good teachers will know that, or good coaches will know that. But I could just wipe that kid off and just gone, "Oh, mate, get over it. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with you?" So I worked out his story. And then I said, "Hey, mate, let's just..." And I said, "Let's just... you don't tell your mum this, but just say a swear word and just scream it out as hard as you can for the next 3 seconds, because there's no one on the beach." And he did it, and he goes, I said, "How do you feel?" He goes, "I feel great." I said, "Well, go back out there and let's just surf." I said, "Don't even care about what you're going to do on the wave." I said, "I want you actually just to fall off your board, and actually don't even care. I want you to do a nose ride, which is not high performance. I want you to do a soul arch, and I just want you to actually have a smile on your face." And he was like, "Oh, thanks, Matty." And I was like, "Yeah, well, just get out there. It's not a big deal." So many people, and Nick Carroll talked about surf anxiety, where people are anxious about watching. You got a crowded lineup, and a wave comes, and everyone's like, "Shit, I don't want to stuff it up because the wave's so good." So it's pretty heavy with surfing gone now. But if we stop caring a lot, we're going to actually surf better. And like, you look at Parko, and he's got that beautiful not caring style, but it's amazing because he's so technical. And then other guys, you see, other guys getting so angry, and anger's not going to make you surf better. Sometimes, but I think more often than not. You're going to get drop-ins, you're going to get interferences. Like, I like, what's his name? Jeremy Flores. Like, he's passionate, but sometimes it gets him in hot water. Like, I love how he's passionate, and same with Medina. But sometimes they get interferences, or even Philippe last year when he stormed the judging tower, could have cost him a world title, maybe. So sometimes, like, emotions, dealing with it, and it's actually in the moment, like through meditation or breathing or whatever, just going, "Hey, it's actually not, the situation is not that bad." It's something that comes with age, because I was a hothead.
This is what separates the great from the good, isn't it? It's like being able to control that sort of stuff. Look how calm.
Like, I've never seen John blow up. Exactly. I've never seen him hit his board on the scaffold.
Yeah, I'm sure he feels those, but he just knows how to.
And he's so good. Yeah, like, he's just calm. Even when he loses, you can see he's just like, inside, as you said, he's probably like feeling it, but he's like, "Well, I'm not going to show everyone that, for one, and two, he just says, mate, I'm just like, I really love how John always says when he gets through a heat, he just wants to surf. He's like, I'm just stoked to get through because I want to surf snapper on my own, or surf chopes on my own, or J-Bay. And I think that's a really good motivation as a coach, or if you're coaching someone. It's not about winning it, it's about being in the moment and doing the right things. Yeah, doing the right things on the wave, like catching. Like, I've seen so many comps, and you have too, and especially QSs, and QS is a little bit different to CTs, because CTs are so the level's that high, but the level's that high too in a QS. But if you do 2 big turns in the QS in the pocket, on a set wave when you got priority, you're pretty much going to get an 8-point ride. Pretty much. If it's critical. So it's pretty easy to coach. Like, just say, hey, guys, just keep it simple. Just go to the vert in the pocket. Bang, bang, bang. And then under priority, if it's a closeout section, if you're a Felipe Toledo kind of guy, go throw that crazy joker card out and go for the massive air rev, because if you fall, it's not going to matter because you're under priority. So, yeah, it's so much to do with, just the emotions and the mindset, which you would have talked with a lot of guys you've seen. And like, surfing's a game. Like, if you go free surfing, if you're Craig Anderson, it's cool. You just go and cruise and get barreled and do airs. But when you've got only 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you've got to know what the judges actually want.
Did you read that article John wrote?
No.
No? He was talking about, like, in competition, like, he really enjoys competition because his goal in competition is to try and get into that free surfing headspace.
Yeah. And
he obviously finds it easy to do when he's free surfing, but it's just, when you're that good, you kind of almost seeking out challenges.
Yeah.
So he just kind of changed his attitude towards competition.
That's so good, hey. That's a smart way. Because if you're going to, if everyone, like, if you've got a purpose, that's the main thing. Like, if you look at anything, people who work even doctors, lawyers, athletes, money's great, but at the end of the day, if you've got a purpose, that's way better. You wake up for the purpose. You're not going looking at your bank account. And I think John's like that. Like, he's got to, like you said, he's got to have those goals to be motivated. So he's going to go, he wants to be in that zone. That's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And he's a freak. And it was pretty cool. We did a thing with Bede Durbridge last year and Baldwin. And Bede got up and spoke after his injury and whatnot, and it was a really cool talk about being positive, about breaking his pelvis and whatnot. And he was not ever negative one bit. That's why he recovered so fast. But he got the call up for John to be the coach, and he was like, "Oh, that's a positive. I can't surf this year, but I'm going to coach John." And he told John. Was basically three things. Was sacrifice, like, he just had to sacrifice himself to win the first world title, and one was being the first guy out there every morning, so that's one. Two was surfing, like, actually finishing waves, which is number two. And three, not going out for a video clip. So that was the first year. That was his first year. So maybe he achieved that. And now this year, when he's with Ross Williams, he's probably going, well, hey, I've got that first world title. Now I'm going to try to make my free surfing into my heats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he lost at Snapper, it was pretty cool. What he said at the end, he said, I could see my wave selection was wrong against Mikey Wright. And he was like, it's good that he acknowledged that. He wasn't like, that's a good athlete. He's not going blaming the judges. He's not angry. He's just like, I think my wave selection let me down, and which was pretty much black and white, So that's why I think the good athletes like the Tom Currans, they're just so level, All the good athletes are just level, like they're teaching. And I know Nam's taught that to Mick a lot. So you see Mick Fanning, he's going for that world title. That pipeline is chaos all around him. And Nam showed us his handycam video, and he did a workout with Mick before it. So he got him in the zone. And then Mick's there on the beach doing which Nam taught him too, like doing the hands, like rubbing his hands together because your nerves finish, at your fingertips. So that's calming him. And at the time, there's some thousands of people at Pipeline, and it's so different with surfing because you don't walk out of your change room. He's sitting on the beach, and there's people right next to him taking photos, and Mick doesn't even know they're there. And then he's just looking out to sea at Pipe, and that's what. And he said to Nam, and Nam said that to him, basically got to get 2 waves and just get 2 big barrels, and I'll win the world title. That's it. So it'd be so. I was just like, that's so cool, from hearing that from Nam, and I know what Mick's like as well. That's just such a good, just a narrow focus. Because that's all it is.
Simple, yeah.
So simple. He's done it. He's a good barrel rider. And Mick went over the falls about probably 10 times before that last beautiful barrel, and he came out and looked at the sky. But he trained himself. I'm just back out there. No negative self-talk, just one more barrel. Not like, oh, it's over. Like if you weren't as strong in the mental state as Mick, if there was a grommet, like a grom, he would have probably gone in, like, had a shocker. Would have melted. After those 10 wipeouts, and, he was fit, he's physically fit, so that's probably helping him too with his mental state. I've got this. He's paddling back out. Yeah, and he gets that wave, whereas I've seen it in junior surfing, and I try to coach this out of all my kids. They'll take off on a wave, and they'll bog their first turn, and it's a 20-minute heat, and then the whole heat's over. And sometimes there's almost four turns left in that wave. Because they bog the first turn, they're like, arms go up in the air, they flick off the wave, you're videoing as a coach, going, what are they doing? Everyone's going, what is he doing? And, you talk to him, and he's like, oh, no, I thought it was all over. I said, mate, it's the first minute of the 20 minutes. So if you're coaching a kid like that, or you're saying, hey, before they paddle out, saying back to Mick, it's just 2 waves. 2 waves, 2 turns. That's all you got to do. Go and do that. That's all I want. Nothing else. 2 turns in the pocket, 2 waves. That's it. If you catch 5 waves, that's fine, as long as you're improving on those waves each time. And they're like, is that it? That's all I have to do? I'm like, yeah. Because I remember when I was competing, you thought that sports psychology was kind of this kind of weird kind of hoodoo thing, like, what's it all about? Is this mystery? Is this something else there? And when I started becoming a coach, I wish I knew all this stuff. And it was just like keeping it simple. Pack your bags at night, get prepared, pack your weddies, pack your food, pack your waters, your spare fins, your boards, your leggies, everything is in the car or at the doorstep, and then you jump in and you go. So you're prepared. So the day starts good and you're ready. Not waking up at 6 going, your heat's at 8:30 and you can't find your fins, you can't find your leggy. You just go into this spiral of just, what's going on? Oh, the world's over, and then you're just going to have a shocker. You're setting up for a shocker. So, yeah, this golfing coach from the Olympics, John Crampton, taught us all this. And when I worked at the Institute of Sport, I was like, what? This psychologist talked about preparation, and that was it. I was like, and then it hit me. I was like, that's it. So, yeah, prepare the day before and prepare, 6 weeks before.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre. But everyone gets it in their head that it is rockets, Everyone just wigs themselves out.
Well, most people are like
overthink it.
I had dinner and I go, I just want to watch TV. I do it in the morning, and I wake up in the morning and your brain doesn't work properly. And where's my leash?
Where's the leash?
That's it. Done. Too late.
Yeah. Where's my?
Yeah, we've had free surfs like that. I mean, obviously free surf, it doesn't matter, but
yeah, I know. Imagine it's like
your career, then
important heat. Chris Davidson, but he could pull it off. He surfed against Slater and didn't have a board someone gave him a board from the Rip Curl shop because he's sponsored by Rip Curl, and I remember Rip Curl did a thing on it. You want to be a champion, and he beat Slater. It was heavy. He went out bells with no leggy and a borrowed board and just waxed it up and never surfed it because he's rock and roll. He pulled it off, but you're only going to pull it off maybe once. You're not going to if you keep doing that pattern, it's not going to work. And that's why I think the Americans came on, the Slater era just came on and just waxed all the Aussies at that stage because the Aussies were just dominating because the Aussies at that stage weren't preparing. I mean, the Tom Carrolls were, and he was super prepared. Like I remember talking to Tom, and he would go out I think it's in your podcast too. Like he'd go out and surf the worst wave. He'd surf Bungan Beach and just surf a closeout to try to do a 2-turn combo. But the Aussie guys, some of the Aussie guys got in the party program. Not the top level, like the mid-range level, and so they were always underprepared. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work. But yeah, it's funny. Hey, like, we used to say that poor preparation leads to a piss poor performance. Used to say that to the grommets, and they're like, "What?" And you say it again. And like for instance, you're surfing a fat right in the heat, and then they free surf a slab down the beach. You're like, "What are you doing?" It's a totally different wave. Oh, the slab looks sick. But do you want to win the heat? There's a fat right in your heat. And the grommet's like, okay, I get it now. But yeah, that's what a coach does. The coach is just a guider. You're guiding and you're knowing the person. Some people are frothers, some people aren't frothers. Some people get angry, some people are too mellow. So you're just trying to find that fine line of actually get to know them. And I think as a coach, you can't ever change anyone. Like, if you rocked up, I didn't know you, I never seen you surf, I could give you a couple of things, but I wouldn't give you a lot. Like I've seen coaches overcoach because they think it's the way to do it. But at the end of the day, as I've got older and coached, less is more. Yeah, like, so someone will come to me, like some dad will bring a kid to me and want me to make them like change the world, and I'm like, hey, look, I'll do video work, and they'll go and get 2 waves, come in, check it out, 2 waves, come in, and then I'll give them some things to work on, and it's going to take ages. It's like getting a block of ice and getting a little chisel, and you're just doing a sculpture, and each day you're just like chiseling away. I'm not going to change that kid's surfing in one day. No way. I'm going to probably wreck his surfing if I come in too overzealous. If that makes sense.
Mm.
So it's just like little chips, and chips. And then like I've coached Hedgie since he was 11. Cooper Chapman since he was 10. And now I'm actually learning stuff with Cooper right now because he's gone for a bad patch. He's surfing great on a free surf level, but then sometimes he'll go out in a heat and he knows that he wasn't surfing to his potential. So I've had to be very, and we talk about that today, now we've got to be really honest with each other, and there's no bullshit anymore. I can't be his mate so much. I'm still his mate, but it's like, no, we got to go, what we're working on now is just going as vertical as you can. We got to go vertical. Every wave is vertical. So we've just got one purpose, and it's either vertical or in the air. And today he went mental. Every time it was this big steep section, he was just going so square. When there was air section, he was doing these full rotations. So it was really cool. And he's been working with Nam as well for the Olympic team.
Oh, really?
So we're working together, Nam and I and Coops. And yeah, talking to Nam too, just every training session has to be just so purpose built, and it's gone bang straight into Cooper's head. It's amazing. Like,
look out.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So you've been doing quite a bit of stuff with Nam?
Yeah, I did a 6-day. I did 6 days with Nam with Surfing Australia.
Yeah.
So they nominated. I think it was like 16 of us, and I was in the first group, and it was awesome. Like, it was a really good crew of guys and girls that I grew up with as coaches and surfers and competed with. I think there was like Kate Scarrett, and there was like Bede was there, Bede Durbridge, there was Dan Ross, Bottle Thompson, Blake Johnson, Adam Robinson, a really good crew of people, and it was more so about us being better as people, as humans, so we could actually, if we felt good about ourselves, we can coach better. It was really good. It was an amazing course. So he taught us a lot about meditation. He taught us a lot about breathing. And then I've taken that further because I felt so good. I remember you talking about when you did it. So then I've done a bit of Wim. You taught me some Wim Hof. I remember that in here in the High Performance Centre, and I really love that. So I've sort of, after Nam teaching us, I went and did some Vedic meditation with Gary Goro. So I did that course with my wife. So every day I try to meditate in the morning, 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes in the arvo. And then, because I'm such a frother, I'll throw in a Wim Hof as well. And then I'll do an ice bath either in the morning or the arvo somewhere. But it's, it just made me way more level when I'm coaching. So if, like years ago, because I froth so hard, I would probably over froth. If I look back in hindsight, me as a coach probably 20 years ago, I was just so energetic, which is good. But at the same time, as you get older, you've got to kind of be more like Yoda. And like someone will ask me now, they might say, what do you think about what happened in that heat, Matty? Or what happened on that wave? What was that turn? And I'll go be a bit more like Yoda, and I'm going to get back to you on that one. Whereas years ago, I'd want to give the answer, and now I want to actually give the right answer. So it's a really cool way to coach, which Nam taught us, because you're better off giving nothing than something that's not right. Whereas back when I was overzealous and frothing, trying to give too much, And I've learned heaps from that, and I've also learned, because I'm always up early anyway and want to froth for a surf. But sometimes now I'll make myself meditate. I know Tom Carroll does it too. We went to Out Germans one day, and Tommy was in the car doing meditation, and Hedgie's going, "What's he doing? I said, he's doing his meditation. I've already done mine." But you go out so much clearer.
Yeah.
It's sort of less is more, and I found it's been that was the plan behind it. Surfing Australia was a really good plan. So if we're calm, we're like rocks. Our students are always going to come to us, and we're not getting bad information, and they'll always feel calm around us. And if we're centered and grounded, so Nam was all about teaching us centered and grounded. So if we get in a bad situation, you do the 4-second in breath, 4-second out breath. Something stressing you. You see those coaches, in any sport that are crazy. They're losing their minds, like yelling, pointing this way, pointing that way. Phil McNamara, who's a mate of mine, who's been mixed coach, he was always the rock. He was just like so level. It's like his heart rate probably doesn't get over 40. And he's so smart. So you'd always say not much to Mick, but all the other coaches are saying heaps. And Phil's just like, yeah, Mick, just need you today. It's out chopes. You just need to get deep, pull in. That's it. Pull, bang, done. With his calm voice, with his beard. So the older guys, like I think in society we're not. Well, it's all about the youth, but it's all. I think now as you get older, like we need to. It's all about the elderly people. They're smart. People don't look at old people that they're smart. They know their shit. So that was a really cool course, especially and he said a really cool thing about Ryan Hipwood about adrenaline, and it seems to was going with me a lot. You used to see me, I was pretty crazy and always always blah, 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 on, just going crazy on coffee, or I still love my coffee, and Ryan Hipwood went around the world just chasing waves, and then at Cape Fear he just broke down and started crying. He didn't know why. And then Nam trains him and goes, well, mate, you just too much adrenaline. You need to meditate. I taught you how to meditate. You're not turning up for my next training session if you don't meditate. So I think that's amazing. Just putting a valve out, and the kids aren't taught this at school. It's so sometimes frowned upon. It's too hippie, but it's starting to get better now. But Matty Griggs is really big on it. I know Seinfeld. he's like I was watching one of his things the other day. He meditates, and he's such a grounded guy, and he's always happy. Taylor Knox, You could go on forever. Russell Brand, like he's big into meditating, and he was like a massive drug addict, wasn't he? Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely helped me, and I mean it's helped a lot of people. It's just not, and the good thing is that ones I've learned, it's not a big deal. Like the one I learned off Gary Goro, the Vedic. You can sit in your car and do it. You can sit under a tree. There can be a chainsaw next to you. You can do it. Like it's not like it, and it doesn't have to be great. You get some bad ones. Like it's not. You don't come out of it going, "Oh, that was unreal. Oh, wow." Sometimes they're like really annoying. So, and you say when something comes in, you say, "Don't know, don't care." So a thought comes in. Some meditations say you got to get rid of the thought, or you got to be totally clear. But there's so many messages in our brain going through. You can't do that. You can't always block it out. There's no way. So it's like, well, just let the thoughts come in and they don't matter. Just in 20 minutes. And if we brush our teeth every day and we eat good food every day and we exercise every day, we don't look after our brains, That's why everyone's out there in the traffic yelling at each other or going crazy. But yeah, it's kind of helped me have a thicker skin. So if someone doesn't like me, I used to get really upset because not everyone's going to like you. Now I'm like, well, I don't really care. It's just me. And if you don't like me, I don't give a and you don't like my opinions or what I believe in, because I believe in good stuff. So if you're not going to come on for the ride, beat it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we often ask the people we coach to do, is just stay calm, make good decisions, and focus on the wave.
Yeah.
But as a coach, you need to be able to do that in the water and on land as a coach.
Yeah.
Because you got to lead by example, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's profound.
Yeah. So it sounds like I'll be the happy guy in the water. If someone's going to be gnarly on me, I'll just out happy them. And I surfed with sea bass in Kauai not long ago. I went there with a family holiday, and I knew him. I met him through Hedgie when I was coaching Hedgie on the CT. And sea bass is such a cool guy, and you've always seen it, and he's actually like that in real life. And it was so cool. And it made you'll love what he does, and I always like going out and surfing and frothing, right, and having a good time and smiling and talking to people. How you going? Blah blah blah. So sea bass was like 4 foot at pine trees where Andy and Bruce grew up, and sea bass grew up, and we're out surfing there. I was with my kids. They're like 17 and 15. We're surfing this left shore, and it was this beautiful shore break on steroids. So sometimes it close out at the back like 4 to 6 foot, and it come through the shore, and then it double up. There'd be barrels, and there'd be sections, and some would be bad, some would be good. When you surf a shore, that's why I say to the crew, and don't overthink it. When you surf a shore break, you just catch heaps of waves, because one might be a 10, one might be a 1. Doesn't matter. Because if you get caught if you don't catch waves, because his rip was gnarly, you don't catch that wave, you're going to get out to sea, and then you got to do the paddle of shame back in or bodyboard in. But anyway, we were surfing out there, and I got a wave, then my son got a wave, my daughter got a wave, and then Seabass and his mate were like, "Hey guys, how you going?" Like paddled over, like, "How you going? Good to surf with you guys." I'm like, "What?" We're in Hawaii, and like people want to talk to us, and are smiling and frothing. And I'm like, this is unreal. And that was our first day. And then we started seeing them out there. And I love Seabass because he's smiling, talks to everyone, gives groms waves, but I think he had about 250 waves in this session. It was about 2 hours. And he would catch a 4-footer, get a tube, come out, do an air reverse. This is on his good waves. Do a big Rio. And then that was it. Then he's paddling out, and a 1-footer comes. He catches a 1-footer and goes crack, crack, crack on a 1-footer. He didn't have to catch it. He's on his way out. But I think he just can't sit still for one, and he's happy. And I think he's self-training himself too, because in his brain he's probably going, "Oh, that was like a tiny wave in Brazil. Then the barrel, he's in a barrel, he's like mini chopes. And then the next wave, he goes over the falls, like doesn't even get to his feet, comes out laughing. I just going, this guy's amazing. And then next thing, does a full rotation, back and reverse. And he's just out there, he's happy. And I'm like, man, when I go back to Australia, I'm going to do this in a more sea bass level. I do it anyway, but I'm going to go more hardcore. And it's sick because you go out a wave, like even when it's crowded, like I'll go out Longy or go out North Narrabeen. The other day I surfed North Narrabeen right, so there's probably 30 guys out. And I was paddling out thinking sea bass, and a 1 to 2 footer came and it was surfable. So I did 2 Rios on it. But out the back was pumping, but I did 2 Rios. And then I got my first wave. Then another paddle back out, the guy fell off, got another one. Then got another one. I had 10 waves before I got out the back. And I didn't even want to go out the back because I didn't want to go with the hassle. I just wanted to be, it was really cool. And like we were surfing Hunalay Bay and it was 8 to 10. Seabass couldn't be bothered with the crowd. He's surfing a 3-foot inside bowl, bit ripping. Yeah. And I saw him. I said, "Oh yeah, how crowded was it?" He goes, "Man, I couldn't deal with it. I just surfed the inside bowl." I said, "Yeah, I saw you." And he goes, "Yeah, man, I'm not surfing with crowds." Yeah. So, yeah, learn off people, watching, I suppose.
Yeah. How long were you in Kauai?
There for 2 weeks.
Yeah, rad.
Beautiful.
So beautiful, eh?
So good.
You surf tunnels?
I didn't surf tunnels. The grommets weren't too keen on it, but we surfed cannons and...
You surf cannons?
Yeah,
wow.
we surfed because they're goofies. And they weren't too keen on tunnels after the Bethany thing.
Yeah, I surfed tunnels once. It was the paddle out is airy.
Yeah, it's an area, yeah. And the little left in front of the lifeguard tower, not little, but we surfed that about 5 foot too.
Oh, yeah.
Pukas. Pretty cool, eh? Yeah, you've been there a couple of times?
Only once.
Yeah, it's beautiful, eh?
Actually reminds me of the Northland in New Zealand. Really similar sort of landscape. And
mountains and Puff the Magic Dragon and stuff.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, the waves are a bit smaller in New Zealand, though.
So, how about, I'll throw it back to you. So, what have you been doing with your stuff? I know you're being right into your studies and...
Yeah, I've been studying a lot of functional neurology stuff.
Wow.
So, just learning about how the brain controls the body, really. How the brain receives all this input from the body, like it's receiving input from your skin, from your joints, from your muscles.
Wow.
From your vision, from your vestibular system, from your hearing, from your smell. And then based on all of that input, it makes a decision on what it can do for output. Sometimes those signals turn into pain. Because that's just a mismatch of signals.
Yeah.
That's what pain is.
Interesting, hey?
Yeah. And sometimes the mismatch of signals or the inaccuracy of a signal can just decrease strength and performance. So what we're finding is increasing the quality of the input is getting people out of pain.
Yep.
And also increasing performance. Vision is a major one, man.
Wow.
I know Nam does a lot of it as well, like a lot of visual stuff, like throwing tennis balls at people as hard as he can, and he expects them not to flinch and just catch it, right?
Yeah.
That's a very visual thing.
Yeah, I do that here on my boards on the surf set now.
Yeah.
I do pop-ups and throw balls and stuff.
Yeah, that's a performance example, but even from an injury example, like if your eyes can't, if your brain can't control the muscles of your eyes very well,
wow,
your brain knows that, and it kind of holds you back. So we can assess and retrain the coordination of the eyes.
Insane.
So there's a lot of focus on the input rather than just the output.
Yeah.
My main background is in strength training and movement training, which is all output focused. Move better, move stronger, faster. But now I'm learning, if you improve the input, then the output. So input first.
Yeah, that's great.
That's kind of how you summarize.
Yeah, it's a lot to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of complex brain loops that are involved, and I'm only scratching the surface. But it's powerful stuff, man.
I'd love to do a session with you. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's so That's what I like doing, like in my coaching now, because I've had a martial arts background and, trained with NAM as well. But I do with all my groups now, like I do a lot of boxing, I do a lot of stick work, and I throw a lot of balls, just like to start the session. And they love it. Everyone loves it. And they're out of the comfort zone. And I do kickboxing, and people are like, I've never kicked a bag in my life. I don't care. I don't care how bad or good you do it. I'll show you once, and then we'll get there eventually. And a lot of that sort of stuff, I'll go throw it up there, high round kick, low round kick, inside leg, and then have the pads and go left, right, boom, 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 and heaps of just reaction stuff. Yeah. And I'll go 2 punches, 8, 50, 1,000. No, 100. But yeah, just that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you're onto it, man, because that's foot-eye coordination.
Oh, it's
kicking,
massive.
Which is surfing. You need foot-eye coordination.
And you're turning, were you doing that like a round kick as a kickboxer is similar to doing a turn.
Exactly.
So exactly what you're talking about, and they're out of the comfort zone. And people, that's what adults are so. We're all so wrong. If you're a kid, you just do it. Another one? If you're a kid, like I had a kid the other day, and I was just going, bang, I had the pad. I go, high kick, and you just kick it, bang. Low kick, bang. Inside leg, boom. He'd never done it. And he's just going. Then I drop it, and I go, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, hook, uppercut. Duck. Stick go over his head. Then I now do a stick one too. I get a stick as well with one mitt in the hand. Sounds pretty weird on the podcast, but so I got a mitt in the left hand and a stick in the right hand. So I'm waving that over their head, and then they've got to jump it, and then they've got to throw combos on that hand. Because I remember doing, when I was competing, Terry Day got me into boxing as my coach, and we're doing heaps of, it's just the hand-eye stuff, like bang, 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 and it helps you paddling. Like also with the paddling too. So if you come out fast and light with your paddle and pull through the water with efficiency and then come out fast, you're going to be a way better paddler. You see anyone paddles past you, they got that really good rhythm, like a boxer, like throwing jabs, not big haymakers. But then you see a weightlifter, a guy who's in the gym just lifting heavy weights, he paddles past you slow and clunky. Anyway, so that one, it helps you paddling, and then the second one, the hand-eye, when you're doing combos and someone's throwing out randoms, you're like, boom, boom, the left, right, hook, uppercut, blah, 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 blah. I remember one day doing this with Terry, been training with him for about a couple of weeks, and I took off on a right-hander. And I did 3 turns, I was about 18, I did 3 fastest backhand turns I've ever done in my life. Yeah. And I flicked off the wave and went, the boxing. Straight away I was like, wow. Because the lip just came up in the corner of my eye, and I didn't hesitate, just went straight up into it. And then I went back up again. Whereas if I wasn't trained, I might have just gone around it.
Yeah, it's all about just being sharp.
Yeah, all the top athletes are sharp. Look at the UFC guys, they're crazy.
Yeah, it's all about being sharp, because you probably notice that when you say jab,
yeah,
the best athletes are already halfway there by the time you've said
already
it.
there, yeah.
And the average guys are they hesitate.
Yeah, you like to say
they're not sharp. So if you can build that sharpness into anyone, they're just going to be a better surfer because they're sharper.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, the decision making.
It's the decision making,
it's called the OODA loop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And what is that?
I'll send you an article about it.
Cool.
It's complex, but yeah.
So it's sort of if you're trying to think about the future, you're gone. You think in the past, you're gone. You got to be just bang in the moment, hey? Yeah. I mean, that's cliche, but
it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah, no, it's so true. When you're in big wave surfing, or barrel surfing, when you're tube riding, or you're so in the moment, hey? It's crazy. You take off on a big bomb out Germans, and then you're connecting the dots. You're connecting the dots when you're a kid, with a paper, and you're looking through, okay, I'm going to go, bang, I'm going to go to the right here, so I don't get the lip to the head. Then I'm going to do my bottom turn. Then I'm going to hit the section. When you're in a tube too, you like come in, you're surfing Greenbush or Macaronis, and you knife it in, and you're like, okay, this one I've got to actually knife straight in. I can't do a straight down drop. Pull straight in, and then you're pumping in the barrel, pumping, and this is everything's the time stands still. Hey, and you're just so in the moment, and noises are amplified and everything. You're only in like a 3-second barrel, but it feels like 2 minutes, and there's just so much stuff going on. Then it blows out, or you're on the foam ball or whatever, and you're just reacting, bang, 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 bang. And that's where you come out and you're in that flow state, and you're just so stoked because you didn't think about anything in the world. The whole world could be blowing up behind you, and you're in the barrel and you don't care. Yeah, it's really awesome. No, I mean, that's why we surf. That's why we do it. It's so addictive, and we have to surf every day to be good on those moments. So you've got to surf, not every day, but I do, luckily. But, I train and surf. So on the shit days, or the terrible days, and then when you're ready for those good days, you're sharp.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot. Like being in California for the past few months, just been... The ocean is so calm there, and you get nice, clean, long period swells.
Yeah.
But I've just been longboarding and just cruising, and then I come back here, and there's three swells, and there's refractions off the headland, and I'm surfing LA, and it's pitching, and it's drawing. I'm like, man, I've just lost my sharpness.
I know how great, like the East Coast, because of the short period too. We're getting short period, and that's what the guys used to struggle when going to the Aussie titles. When I was competing in the Aussie titles, the Queensland guys would come down and surf the first few rounds, and a lot of them get smoked because it's so short sharp. It's like paddle hard on the angle, pump in the top third of the wave, get up in that first section, and then if you're lucky, get a second turn. Whereas someone from Snapper's got boom, okay, roundhouse, drop down, vert, barrel, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so yeah, it's like you've come from there in long periods. Yeah, it's so like intense, hey? And I think East Coast, and that's heaps of the Aussie surfers from the East Coast, that if you look at their personalities, intense. They're the same Brazilians are intense because they're from short sharp. So there's a point there with with short. If you did a study, they should just study, like, look at Parko from Snapper. He's real cruisy in that beautiful style. Then you look at someone like Hoyo, East Coast, just Mocky right, rah, rah, full animal. Yeah. So there must be something said into period swells, and I teach that in my classes, and the kids look at me at first going, is he going crazy? Has Matt lost his mind again? And I'm like, okay guys, before we paddle out, just tell me what the period is today. What the period is, where the wind's from, the swell from, because they just forget that. They just think, I'm going to paddle out here and sit on the bank. I'm like, no, not good enough. Okay, today it's a short, sharp period. It's a 5-second period. There's a wave coming every 5 seconds. So you can be busy on the bank. You don't have to wait. If you're surfing a heat, especially if you're competing, and it's priority now. So there's no point in pulling anchor for priority on a short period swell. So that's where crew will get mixed up. Sometimes the priorities come on board and no one can touch you, and you've got to be on the best wave. But sometimes on short periods, the ones under priority are good. On a big period swell, sit out the back, you've got to wait for that bomb. You've got to wait for that bomb because they're coming every 3 minutes or 5 minutes, And the kids look at you like you're crazy. And you video it, and you go, the guys that get it, they're busy on a short period swell and come in and nail it. And the guys that don't are sitting out the back, and everyone underneath them is catching waves. And the kid gets 2 waves, or 1 wave comes in spewing. So yeah, it's so important. Like, we all forget that. I think we all forget watching the ocean, watching the period, watching the swell, and then paddling, takeoffs, everything. All go all the way back to basics. bottom hand turns, and then everything else will be fine. The top turn's going to be fine. If you're got a good bottom hand turn, your vert's going to be good. If you got a good, you know how to do an air. You know how if it's all set up with your bottom turn.
Yeah.
Everyone's gone looking at the top. Don't you reckon? And then you listen to good coaches, like it's all back to bottom turn.
Yeah, and especially when we watch Curran, he's just looking like just in front of the nose of his board. Like
Yeah.
He's watching the bottom of the wave and just looking for the power zone at the bottom of the wave.
So good.
And then I think you learn, like, the more you start watching the bottom of the wave.
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah, then you start to be able to predict what's happening.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can feel it. And you stay low then. So you actually get super low in your crouch. And you're not all up high. You actually compress and you're looking like coiling. And you're like coiling. Oh, okay, now go. Whereas the crew that are going, I just want to get to the top, they do this really weird turn because they haven't compressed on the bottom turn, they haven't looked, they haven't felt it. Exactly like you said. And Curran would go turn by turn. He's not thinking of the 10 turns. He's going to do that first turn beautifully and then hit that and then come out of that. Okay, I feel the section. And then a good surfer like him does the turn for the section. So if you're doing it turn by turn, you're always doing the best turn for the section. So grommets go out there and go, I want to do airs. And you go, there's no air sections today. It's fat. It's high tide and it's it's fat. You're not going to do an air. Oh, okay. Oh, bummer. So, you'll say, well, let's work on roundhouse cutbacks. Even though they don't score on competition, but you've got to have a good roundhouse cutback. So you got to do. So I say to the kids and the pros, do the turn for the section. You can't manufacture it. You can't. It's going to look shit anyway. It's going to look terrible. It's going to look absolutely terrible if you try. You're trying an air on a fat section. It's not going to happen. You're just going to do a flyaway. And Curran was perfect. Like just surfed, turn, a J-bay. And then he walks his feet up and down, Yeah, it's amazing. That's what I think. You look at that old stuff and it's so timeless. I mean, some of it's relevant. It's so relevant now. I reckon when Curran surfed in that against Oki in that Masters heat in J-Bay, I thought he surfed better than anyone that whole event. Like in my eyes, like I might be delusional, but the way he was reading the barrels and the turns, because he wasn't overcooking it, because a lot of the pros are probably thinking in their mind, because they've got to surf for points and money, blah blah blah. They're surfing they're trying to surf for the judges, whereas Curran was actually surfing for the wave. I mean, that Oki heat, I was just like, oh my goodness. That's the best surfing I've seen for a long time, because he was drawing the craziest lines and he was getting barreled when he was supposed to get barreled and then doing cutbacks when he's supposed to, and then it was cool, And then walking up the board, up and back. And still going down sections where some of the guys in the Pro Tour, because they'd have to do that big turn in the pocket, they'd lose speed and actually the wave run off. There's still another 100 metres a wave, 200 metres, and Curran's still doing it.
Yeah, he's got so much grace.
Yeah, that's what surfing is, hey, I think. If you can get grace in anything, all the good athletes have grace, don't they? Like anyone, golf, tennis, surfing, got time. Like Parko, they got that time. You're like, geez, he's got so much time in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And you do. I've been. We went to California. I just bought a longboard.
Nice.
I always had this attitude, like, it's for old people.
Nah, it's not. It's good for your surfing.
Mate, it's the best thing for your surfing.
Well, Julian Wilson,
yeah,
longboard champ.
But I've been meeting a lot of surfers, and like a lot of pro shortboarders do a lot of longboarding, and we just don't know.
Yeah.
Like interviewed Bainey the other day, and he's like, oh yeah, he nearly won the longboard
title. Yeah, he was bummed because he didn't win the world title. Wow. He was that close.
Yeah. And Julian Wilson and
Steph Gilmore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just picking the right board for the conditions is something I've been learning more and more about as well.
Yeah, huge. Like, I was listening to a podcast by and Dave Parmenter was on it. I don't know, is the Beach Grit one or Surf Splendor? Yeah, it's good. I love that one. And he was I really like what he said, because everyone narrow-minded on shortboards, it's just going to get angrier and angrier, because we all want to surf the same wave. We want a sucky, nice, like North Narrabeen setup, or Whale Beach wedge, on the East Coast around here. But that's the only ways we want to surf. But the longboarder could be down the beach on a fat right, or you go to Collaroy, or
having the time of their life,
having a ball,
and
then foiling. Like, people hate foiling. I almost KO'd myself the other day trying it, and that spreads out. People going to surf waves that you don't want to surf, and then sup. Sup's hated as well, but you're spreading everyone out. If we all have this we all had this mentality that we've got to surf a 6-foot shortboard by 19 and 2 1/4. It's great, but we're all going to go crazy. Like, who cares? I've got finless boards. I love finless boards. I've read sup boards. Started foiling. Put 6 staples in my head at the moment from that. Done toe-in surfing. It takes the competition out of it. I think that's where surfing we get ourselves wrong. I remember talking to a skateboarder, and skateboarders, they take turns on the ramp. They take a turn, and then that was sick. Whereas surfers, you get one if you're greedy, and then the greedy guy will go and snake the other guy and piss him off, and then there's like anger out there. But if you're foiling with someone, you're out there on a foil, you're like, yeah, that's mental, bro. Like, you're just going along this swell. Then you're on a sup out, somewhere that's fat, and you're like having fun with your mate, or you're on a longboard learning how to switch foot, I think that's where we've got it so much wrong in our heads.
Yeah, I think it's different in California because almost everyone's on
different stuff.
Alternative equipment. Yeah. Everyone's on big fishes and eggs and longboards and fat shortboards and things, and they're onto it. The waves over there do kind of demand that.
And Christensen's got he's got some sick boards, hey, like those 20s and singles, and then there's Bonzers, and that's like here. I've got all these boards, these old boards. All my boards, I've got about 30 retro boards. They're all riders. They're not for show. Now I've got them up there because they look good, but I still got my riders. So every time I bought a second-hand retro, it was a rider. It had to be for my weight. I'm 78 kilos. I wanted a 6.0 20 MR. I didn't want I want a good one. I was like, I look at it and feel it. I'm like, it's not going on the wall. I'm surfing it, So fun. And you put that feeling into the shaper. The shaper's thought of what that board was. Like, now everything's so vanilla, like it's like the same, like in shortboard realm, but there's cool stuff coming out. Like, there are, like, if you're just thinking about, if you're just thinking about shortboard realm, like what we said before, standard 6.0 by 19, 2 1/4. But
if the waves are pumping, that's what I want to be
on.
on.
You want to be on that. It's way better. Like, for instance, I went foiling the other day just because I got one, and I surfed off the reefs at long reef on my own, because that's another thing I want to come back to. If you're going to ride sups or foils, you shouldn't go where the people are. You need to go on your own. I think that's a given. Like, don't go out. Someone's having a really good surf. Don't go out in this weird equipment and just wreck someone's surf. Don't do that.
I dare you to take a sup out North Narrabeen.
Oh, you'll get killed. One day we'll come back to that. But one day I see surfing North Narrabeen, and it was terrible. And I got a lot of mates from North Narrabeen, and 2 guys paddled from the longie, like just on sups, and they were coming in to the lagoon. They weren't even going to surf, and 2 guys ran down there to punch their fins out and said, no sups here. And I was like, I know him. He's actually not surfing. He's just going to just take it back to the bloody down the lagoon to his car. And they're like, oh, okay, fine. But I reckon that's cool about North Narrabeen. Like, you know what you're getting. Like, I love that. Like, I know there's all going to be shortboards there.
It's a shortboarding wave.
It's a shortboarding wave. It's sucky. It's perfect. It's a left and a right. And if a sub comes out there, it's going to wreck the whole dynamic. A Mal comes out there, they have an anti-Mal zone as well. I reckon that's sick. So when I surf Northie, I know that it's on a shortboard. I've never ridden any other equipment out there. I have ridden a finless actually, but that was only a 5'10" or whatever. But I love that about Northie because you know what you're getting. It's like you're going to the grocery store and you go to Woolies and then that's what you're getting. That's all you're getting. And there's not some guy sitting 50 metres out and just cooking you. And it's good how the boys just go, nah, get out. Because you go there in your shortboard and have a ball. And I see you out there all the time. And like today at Longy, we were surfing this sick shorey and a sup coa came out. Top, really nice guy too. And then he's doing the old taking him 50 metres out or 100 and on it because you can see it coming from a mile away. And then he mowed through the pack, and then he got a few people telling him to beat it. And then after that, the poor guy had to paddle down and surf a sub-zero wave, which he should have gone to at the start. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's like you said, like there's so many cool boards out there, but you just got to be mindful of other people. Like Tom Carroll and I used to go. We still, he'd ring me up. We go at German Banks, sou'westers, like 8 to 10 foot. It's crazy. Some days 12 foot. And I was like, Tommy, why don't we just go out prone paddling? He's like, no, because that's too easy. Let's just go. And we're going over the falls and getting smashed. Doing airdrops because it's southwest. He's like, no, I've got to challenge ourselves. And I was like, oh, we paddle up at S Rock Butterbox. I want to paddle out there. And he goes, no, we're going through the middle. I'm like, no, Tommy, no. And he's like, no. I said, mate, I know where to paddle out. He goes, I know, but we're going straight through. And if any of the listeners, it's like a closeout, and it's 8 to 10 foot closeout sandbar. So that's TC. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll listen to TC because he's my hero.
What big wave equipment are you riding now? Is you on Christensen's now?
Yeah, I went on the Christensen's because I ride for Channel Islands and they're affiliated with Christensen, but it wasn't just because of that. Hedgie had a 9 foot Christensen, and he was just tearing on it. And I was just like, wow, there's some magic in that board. And the other boards I've had too, like the Webster is insane. Like the Webster I've caught some of the best bombs ever on that thing. That thing's a black hula. I think you had one. Yeah. I had a 10-2, and I was riding a Salakis before that, a 9-4. So 9-4 Salakis, that was amazing. And Mike and I did that on our own together. That was before paddling got big around Sydney. I was paddling on my own a lot on the 9-4. That went amazing. Great board. Still got it. Then just the 10-2 is just like almost cheating, but it's that good. When you're next to your mates and you're going party wave, and I'm going past them and I'm already up, standing. It's sometimes 15 foot, so you just want to make the wave. You make the drop and you run back to the tail and the thing just turns on a dime. Then I rode Hedgie's 9 foot Christensen. That was amazing. And you can ride that thing in like 2 foot too. You can go out and ride it in 2 foot and have a good fitness session. So I'll go out sometimes on my Christensen or Hedgie's and have a 5.9 on the beach, my fever. Like have my 5.9 fever Channel Islands. So I go out on the 10.0 or the 9.0, get like 10 waves, and then come in, and then it's almost like weight training. And then you jump on your shortboard and just lips there and just go bang, bang. So it's almost like doing a leg press, but perfect, like with functional training. So that I found that really cool because like I don't want to go out blind when it's big and drop into a bomb, and I don't like the board. So sometimes I always do now. If I get a gun, I'll just surf it. I'll probably do about 20 hours on it before I go out on the big days, just to feel it. You get that subtleties of where your chest is, where to paddle, where to spin. Like, there's so much to it, eh?
There is, yeah.
There's so much that first spin when that you sit up on the tail, and then you put the chest down, you start paddling, and you get that full on like glide, when to back off, when to keep going, and then jumping up, and then am I too forward, am I too back, and then I've got to turn now. I'm on a 10-0 or a 9-0. I've got to run back to the tail and get that foot in the sweet spot. Yeah, so that's the equipment I'm riding. And Hedgie and I had a crazy session last year. We surfed a bommy that they'd been towed but never paddled off the south coast. It was a 2K paddle out to sea. We're probably 4Ks off the shore, so we actually jumped off a headland. Hedgie been watching it for a while, and we paddled out, and there's heaps of great whites out there, but we didn't talk about that. And we just went, and I was like, paddled out next to Hedgie. Sun was coming up. That's what Hedgie's so cool about. I'm trying to keep up with my shoulders are burning, and he's just like flying away. I'm like, oh my god, Hedgie. That's what I come back to paddling. He's an amazing paddler. I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm a good paddler, and he's just like so far ahead. Anyway, we get there, and he's all about gratitude. Hedgie, he's really cool, and the sun's coming up. We're like 4Ks like off the beach, but about 2Ks off the headland. And he jumps off his board, and we have a hug, and like, how good is this? Rah, let's go. And it was perfect. It was like probably 12 foot. This A-frame. He was on his 9 hours on my 10-0. Because I'm 10 years older than him. He forgets that. He's like, you're almost 50, man. I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh yeah, sorry. So I think you're my age. But anyway, not that I care about. I couldn't give a crap about how old I am. And yeah, Hedgie was ripping, man. Like just surfing so smooth on his Christensen, just like these drops down and tucking the back knee in and coming up and just hitting it, and sometimes getting barreled but the good and the bad was there was only two of us out. And I mean, I love charging. I love getting destroyed, as I said before, but you'd never surfed this joint in our life. And like the first one came, like this thing came, the first one, we got out there and this big rogue, we had to bail and dive under. Lucky there wasn't a second one. We got up, and anyway, Hedgie gets a wave, then he comes back out, and then a one comes to me, it's like a bomb, and he's just like, go Matty, and you have to go. And lucky I made it. I was just like, oh, and then like sometimes I'd pull back, like in the session, and he's like, you would have made that easy. What's wrong with you? And you're just like, oh, man. Yeah, so pretty lucky having those guys around.
Yeah.
TC, like this pusher.
You got to push, yeah.
Oh, like I was always the pusher. Like I was every session, you're the guy screaming and going as hard as possible. And now I'm a little old. I'm older. I'm not gone soft, but like his skill level's higher, and he's fitter and younger. And it's like,
that's what you need.
It's good.
Yeah.
Nah, it's good. It's crazy. And he goes, oh, sorry for yelling at you for the last 3 hours. I'm like, man, but that's so good. I love it. That's like, if Hedgie says, go. And TC, man, Tom Carroll and Nick Carroll, amazing. So good. Like, they're so technical too.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought, Tom was this fitness guy on the world tour. He won all the world titles. Thought he was just full fitness, but his mind's amazing. Hey, how he looked. I mean, you've interviewed him as well about his boards and his, his diet and his mind. And man, I've seen him do some craziest drops, like when his knee was stuffed. Our Germans just airdrop. And he doesn't even have any cartilage in his knee, and he's just had a knee replacement. But before that, he just airdrop on a 12-footer and just make it, and does this beautiful bottom turn. He's had
next level.
Next level. His rotator cuff. He just had a rotator cuff surgery. Surfing off the Narrabeen before it. He's ripping.
That was the day of his surgery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The swell came in. He's like, I'll get a couple in before I go into the surgery.
You out that north that day with us?
No, I ended up surfing LA, I think.
Oh, it was crazy. He was ripping like the best like lines. He's doing the best lines, like surfing that good, and catching heaps of waves. And I go, isn't your rotator cuff like torn like 6 centimeters? And he's like, yeah, but I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Next level.
Yeah, it's crazy. How did your macaroni's trip go?
Yeah, good. I had 2 last year. Got one coming up in May. And that's just the place is amazing because it's just the perfect speed. So if you're going to coach people or to surf with people, just got the perfect speed. So if it's barreling, you take off and knife it and go straight in the barrel. And then you come out of there and there's like another 5 turns and sometimes another barrel. But the best thing is it doesn't like G-Land. I love G-Land too, but G-Land just runs. G-Land you might take off and you might not even do a turn for about 300 metres, which is fine.
Because it's so fast and woolly?
You just walling. You just running like J-Bay. Just whoa, like on your forehand, like on Goofy. And then you might get a barrel, then a couple of turns, blah, 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 and then again. Whereas Macca's, you just fit so much into a tight space. So if you want to train someone, it's a perfect spot.
It's kind of like the pace of trestles, sort of.
Yeah, a bit like trestles.
Perfect pace.
A bit like trestles, but more amped up. Like more...
Like solid trestles.
Yeah, solid, like angry trestles. If trestles was top to bottom.
Yeah.
So you can fit... If you're training someone or you want to be good for yourself, like training people, so you can get a tube, and as you come out of the tube, you can do like that little drop down where you come down, backhand or forehand, and really set your bottom turn up. And then you go up, hit the lip, come down, come off the bottom again, look back up, same lips there. And you're like, oh, what? Back up there again, down, back up again, back up again. So if you want to work on vertical surfing, it's just like, bang, it's perfect. And then if the air guys, they'll waste sections to do the airs. So it's just like almost like a wave pool. Like it's almost like if you wanted to build a wave pool, it's a perfect wave. And you got Greenbush around the corner when it turns on, when it gets real south of direction. But Macca's is good because forehand and backhand, everyone's happy. Like backhand guys get more turns than the front side. Because in your backhand, you can fit all that turn straight in the pocket. Because you're not like when you're front side, sometimes you overthink it. You're looking because your vision's so good. What you're talking about, vision. You're looking and you're actually reacting too slowly, probably because you can see so much. Whereas backhand, you can't see so much. So you go, if you're a good surfer, I go bang, 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 bang after the barrel section. Like a backhand guy might do 6 turns, a front side might do 3 because it's so tight. And you saw that snapper. See that snapper, the last comp there. That's why the goofies when it's not.
How's Owens? Ridiculous.
Owens in Medina, Wilco. If snapper stayed at that small range swell, the goofies would have won it. You know. Unless Philippe kept going, but at Kira, like it was easy to read on your front side because there's gnarly slabs, but Ace did really well.
So what's the premise of the macaroni trip? Like it's a coaching trip, yeah.
Yeah.
What does the day look like?
Yeah. So what I do, I actually do I'm already there, so but I'm more relaxed. I'll be out there. I'll tell everyone what time I'm surfing. There's already filmers there, so that's sick. So I can be a grom and just surf. The best thing, and then we break it down, the footage in the water and after at night.
So everyone's wave is filmed?
Yeah, everyone's wave is filmed, if they can. But they have 2 filmers there. Macca's has 2 filmers. It's unreal. So, because filmers it'd be the worst job in the world. Like, you're looking at waves, it's pumping. So they have 2 now, which is good, because you get so burnt out. And I always go there because there's filmers, so I can surf with the people. So I can tell them where to sit, tell them which wave to go, what turn to do. If I've caught the wave before, I'll be paddling out. I'll see them on that wave, and I can have a little chat on the way out. And I'll be like, it's not like, that's what's so cool. You got all day. It's not like when I've got clinics here, I might have 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. I've got to throw that in. I've got 8 hours or sometimes 12 hours, you know? So you can really pinpoint what's going wrong or what's going right with their surfing. And it's not like a hardcore thing that I can just go, hey, you know, see that, remember that last wave you just got? Do you remember where your hand was there when you'd come off the bottom? I noticed it was on the wrong side of your body. Like, I think next wave, why don't you just try and put it, your natural footer, right? So why don't you put it on this side, on the inside rail, and just feel and touch the water on every bottom turn. Just touch the water. So you can really, like I was coming back to before, you're not trying to change someone in a day. Because you've got so much time, in 7 to 10 days, you can get massive results. Like, massive results because the wave is high tide and low tide. It'll be great on both those tides, whereas Greenbush is not good at, it's only good at high, and there's HTs is only good at, you know, mid to high. Heaps of waves in Indo aren't really good at tides. So this wave you can surf it at 1 foot, and if it's a 10-foot swell, it becomes like chopes. And there's mini Macca's as well, and there's the right. So you got that, and then you got Rags, right, Roxy's, Thunders, so we go to other spots as well. But Macca's in general, like I've been there when I took my son Taz when he was 12, and it was crazy. He improved daily. I've never seen, like, I've taken crew and they improve daily. Like, put your hand here, look there, bang, 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 you know, and they go up there, do it.
You do it 20 waves and then next tip.
Yeah, next tip. Where you can't do, like, it's like Kelly's wave pool, like, and it can be onshore, it can be offshore, high tide, low tide, 1 foot, 10 foot, and we went there one time and it was like, the owner, which is good friends with Mark Lonergan, and he's like, oh no, you can't, Matt, I don't want you to come. I've been there that many times. He goes, it's technically flat. I said, doesn't matter, I'm coming. But the best thing was, there's no one around. It was me and Taz, my son. You met Taz. It's me, Taz, and the chef, and it was like 2 foot, and it was weird. Every half an hour, like a 3 footer would come through, and it'd be so glassy. It was crazy, and it was just 3 of us out just having so much fun, like in February, and like it's not the season. Yeah. So yeah, that's just that rep, like muscle. You've been a trainer your whole life, and you're doing all your new stuff, muscle memory and.
You can't beat repetition.
And feeling. Feeling's huge. Like, and I say to people, how'd that feel? And they go, oh, yeah. I'll put my hand here, I'll look there. Rail felt like this, blah, blah. Yeah, I think heaps of coaching went a bit weird at one stage. Everyone was taught to rotate the upper body, which is great, but they're forgetting about the feet. So everything's about the feet. So if you're riding longboards right now, and so if you come off the bottom and you just put a little tilt on, if you're going right, you're a natural footer, you're going to put like pressure on your back foot and then a slight pressure on your front foot. So more pressure on the back than the front. And just come off the bottom and not even use your hands. You're going to turn. And then you come off the top and then you're going to use, your heels coming back, looking through the turn. So more important, looking through the turn, I think. But I think where surfing went a bit crazy with coaching and sort of lost in translation, everyone would just throw the arms for the sake of throwing the arms. So you probably see heaps of people out in the water that just got these terrible styles. So they've been overcoached. So they're coming through their turn, the top turn, and then they just chuck their body, and it looks horrible. So I'll say to people who've done that, I say, hey, I just want you to put your hands by your side for a while and just slow it all down. Like, go ride a single fin, ride a longboard, and your style's going to get way better. And that's why we're talking about, like, Julian's got a great style. And John came on board, and he wasn't part of that. People going, oh, we don't like John surfing because he doesn't rotate his upper body. his hands aren't high. And like
He does, but it's so subtle.
Yeah, and I was like,
it's this instead of that.
Yeah, it's not this wide wingspan like an eagle.
Yeah.
It was just here. But it's the hips, not the arms. So a lot of these coaches getting it wrong, just chucking the arms. So all you see these kids out there just and you're going, no, feet first. Like the posterior change, like go feet, calves, hammies, quads, glutes, core, then upper body. So, whereas these guys are going and girls are going full upper body rotation before they've initiated the heel or the toe. And then you got to coach that out of them, So that's where the longboarding comes in, or single fins. Adam Robinson's a really cool guy from Run Surfing Victoria. He did a program with his guys and girls top crew, and they had to start off like on it'll probably correct me anyway, but start off with a 7-footer. So say you're a 15-year-old kid, start off with a 7-footer. It could be a single fin or a 20, or a single fin or a thruster. So 7 does like over 7 weeks. Start off on a 7-8, you ride that for a week. Then you drop down to a 6-8, then a 6-6, 6-4, bang, 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 down to your normal board. And heaps of these guys and girls got great styles.
Just like that
So
North Shore.
Yeah.
The movie.
There you go. You probably got off that.
Yeah. He started on a finless log, like old Hawaii, like old school Hawaiian origins, and worked his way through the progression of board shaping. Yeah.
Because heaps of crew over surf.
Mm.
And I remember my brother one day, I was out longing and he was just coaching himself, because my brother's like, he's won Australian titles. And he was just coaching himself, and it was weird. I was surfing with him, and he's putting his arms by his side, and he's doing like these proper turns. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm going back to basics. I'm just trying to smooth out my style."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." He's like coaching himself. He's a really good coach, and he was another competitor too. But yeah, he still rips, my brother. But yeah, it was really cool to watch him, because he wasn't doing that. He was just doing this. And John, he was just doing this. And then also that helps with his rotation, his airs, because he's got less swing weight. So when he's out here, like an eagle, if he's spread out wide with his hands, he can't rotate as fast. But if you put it in close to and then Andy King got onto that, and so did Julian. They started doing stuff at the HPC, doing these crazy off the half pipe into the airbags, so they could spin faster. They watched snowboarders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you put your hands close, you got less resistance.
I remember you do it on a chair, like you put your arms out, and you spin slowly, you bring your arms in, and you go fast.
Yeah.
Like ice skaters. They start out like this, and they bring their arms in, they close up, and they end up going so fast.
I know. It's so cool, hey. So we can just learn off every sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool, the podcast, what you're doing. And then I'll listen to a lot others, and you listen to other coaches as well, And those are pretty cool. I listened to one of the podcasts. I think it was Surf Splendor as well, because that's why the Brazilian Storm came through, because they've got information now. They never had like Aussies had Aussies ripping around them. Americans had Americans ripping around them. Like you go to your local break. So now a guy or a girl can be in Brazil or anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where they're from. They can Google Dane Reynolds and copy Dane Reynolds. And then they can get a shaper to copy Lost board or whatever, or get a Lost board, or get a Channel Islands or a DHD, and so that guy or girl is just accelerated their learning so fast just by watching stuff. Whereas we had to, I've got some of that. There you go, and you got that
VCR, yeah.
You got the VHS stuff. I used to watch Oki. I used to watch Oki, just Oki, because I'm like a short, stubby, goofy footer like him. I just studied him, and then someone would film me, and I'd look at Occy and then I'd try to compare myself to Occy. What would Occy do there? What would he do his layback? What would he do in that section? So I'd basically self-coach myself for years. Yeah. But I was having a ball, you know. And now they can get it like that. Like they can check out, you know, who's the best air guy, who's the best rail guy, who's the best all around the world. Yeah. And I was surfing at Macaronis with Dane Reynolds, and I was talking about his blowtails. I said, "What's the go with that blowtail you're doing? That's crazy." And he goes, "Yeah, I studied this guy 2 doors. You know, he lives like 2 kilometres from my house. I look at his clips." I said, "What you do? You're like one of the best guys in the world." He goes, "Yeah, but he's got the best blowtail." So I look at him, then I look at the best air guy, and I study him. I'll break down every skill of all the best guys in the world, and then I'll copy it.
Yeah.
And I'll make it my own.
So we're all learning from each other.
Yeah.
And sick. On that note, bro, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me.
We'll do it again sometime.
A lot of rambling, but that's what it's about.
Awesome.
It's got to be entertaining.
Yeah. Thank you.
Love what you're doing. It's awesome.
Sweet. Thanks for tuning in to the Surf Mastery Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Frampton. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep up to date with the latest interviews. Please share with your friends. Check us out on Facebook at Surf Mastery Surf. And if you're on iTunes, please go and give us a little rating. That'd be awesome. Until next time, keep surfing.